If you ever find yourself feeling demotivated and lacking the enthusiasm to pick up your camera and take some photos, then don't worry about it because it happens to everybody at some point. How do you fix it? Well, for me, it's about finding a way to put the fun back into photography. Hi, Paul here from Photo Genius. Welcome to my channel where I do photography tutorials, I share tips and tricks and do occasional gear reviews as well. If you're new here, please consider subscribing. Now, I count myself to be very lucky in that I get to do the things I love and the things I'm passionate about. I've managed to make a living out of doing things I love. There's a famous quote that you may well have heard, and it goes like this: find a job you enjoy doing and you'll never have to work a day in your life. Now, I'm very passionate about photography. I teach photography full time. I run courses and workshops here in Brisbane. I help small businesses with their photography needs. I run this YouTube channel helping you guys take better photos by posting videos every single week. And when I'm not teaching photography, you'll probably find me out and about somewhere in Brisbane taking photos. But like everybody, every now and again, I find myself hitting a wall and lacking the enthusiasm to pick up my camera and take photos. And this happened to me a couple of weeks ago. So what did I do about it? Well, I found a way to get my motivation and enthusiasm back by putting the fun back into my photography. And for me, this meant leaving the big camera on the shelf for a change and taking photos exclusively with my iPhone using an app called Hipstamatic. Now, in this video, what I want to do is I want to share some of those images with you. I want to take you behind the scenes and show you how I got those images, and also want to show you what a really cool and fun app Hipstamatic is. And just to make it clear, this video is not sponsored or endorsed in any way by Hipstamatic. Now, my first iPhone had a 3 megapixel camera. I got it in 2009, which was the same year that Hipstamatic was launched. Here's the very first image that I shot on that phone using Hipstamatic. Now, what I loved about Hipstamatic was the quirkiness of it, the random results you would get, the lo-fi quality. It was great. It was an app designed to emulate the experience of using a film camera like a Holga. It was a lot of fun. You could change virtual lenses and film, and it was Apple's very first app of the year. It also hit the headlines a year after launch when the New York Times photographer Damon Winter used Hipstamatic to capture images of the Afghanistan war, something quite radical for photojournalism. A year after Hipstamatic was launched, Instagram landed and of course went on to be one of the biggest apps of all time and completely eclipsed Hipstamatic, sadly. Now, I'm a big fan of Instagram. I use it every day, but I've always had that soft spot for Hipstamatic. So taking photos with it exclusively over the last week has been a joy. Better than that, it's been a lot of fun. I've fallen in love with Hipstamatic all over again. So this week I've mostly been taking photos on the Brisbane Bay using my iPhone. The week started off dull and overcast, which to be fair is unusual for Brisbane, but great for taking photos. Walking around, there is always plenty to see and capture. Remember to not just look ahead, but look down. It's easy to miss the details. A trick I love is to capture reflections in puddles. The lower you go to the water surface, the better the reflection will be. Plus, the low vantage point gives a really interesting view that we don't normally see. So one of the features I really love about Hipstamatic is how you can take a picture, and then if you shake the camera, it randomly changes the film and the lens type. So you take another image, and of course you don't know what results you're going to get. It's completely random, and it is really, really fun. I'm absolutely loving this today. The local harbour is always a great place to visit, and the creek at low tide always reveals a wealth of subjects to photograph, including the local pelicans. Now, the original Hipstamatic app is not free. In fact, it'll cost you about the same as a coffee from Starbucks. They do make a free app called Hipstamatic X, but in this video, I'm kicking it old school. I want to take it back to the original version. And what I'm going to do now is show you just how easy and more importantly, how much fun it is to use. So when you first open Hipstagram, this is what you're going to see. I've got the camera pointing at my desk. You can see my hand there. And first we're going to take a look at the flip side or the front of this virtual camera by selecting the icon in the bottom right hand corner. So this gives us the front. I really like this cool retro look to it. And the first thing we're going to look at is the lenses. There are a choice of lenses, and to change lenses, all you got to do is swipe with your finger to choose a lens. And what you can also do, which is pretty cool, is you can touch the lens and it will show you a preview of what you can expect from that particular lens. So what type of look. I'm going to click on done. Let's choose a different one. Yeah, this is a lens I like. Click on this and again we get a preview of what we can expect with the lens. Now, as well as being able to change lenses, if you click on the film icon bottom left, you can select different film types, again just by swiping through the options, touch the film, and you get to see how the film will look. So obviously there's lots of variations depending on which film and which lens option you choose. Let's choose another one. One of my favorites is just here, Love 81. This gives really cool vibrant colors. I've been using this one quite a bit the last few days. Click on done. Click on the camera just to reset the screen. And moving over to the next icon, this is the flash icon. Now, I'm not a big fan of using the flash on my phone, but there are different flash options you can choose from. I haven't experimented with these, to be honest, so it's up to you if you want to give these a go. The next icon is the classic black icon. So this gives us the option to choose the case, although to be honest, I've never found out how to change the case and I'm not particularly that bothered about it. This icon in the corner allows you to lock the app or unlock features which are more pro features. I actually prefer to lock it, and that way you're a bit limited with what you can do, but it gives it, I don't know, it's just got a nicer feel to it. So I'm going to leave that as is. Click on done. The shopping cart icon allows you, if you want to purchase extra lenses and film types. We're going to click on the arrow icon there. So this is the back of the camera. To take a picture, pretty straightforward. You just click on the big yellow circle. Top left is the option to do double exposures, where you can take one photo and then overlay it onto a second picture. I do like all the sound effects that they've added to the app. Top right, you'll find a dial that allows you to adjust your shutter speed. This will affect your exposure. To be honest with this one, I've just left it in the auto mode. This little switch in the middle, if you wish, allows you to set the flash, and there's two different types. Again, I've not been using it, but I think their brightness. I really like the cool sound effect. It sounds like an old vintage flash unit recharging. It sounds pretty neat. This little window here shows you what film type you're using. Bottom left is where you go if you want to look at your pictures. We'll talk about that in a moment. This button here doesn't actually do anything. This one is locked because we're using the classic settings rather than the pro settings. I'm leaving that as is. This icon here, if you want to, which is pretty neat, allows you to save favorite lens and camera combinations. All you got to do is click on the plus sign, choose which lens you want to use, and then choose from the film types you want to use. You can then save it as a preset, so that's pretty neat as well. Let's go back. And the final option really is the option to choose either wide or use the telephoto lens if your iPhone has the two lenses, and most of them do, of course, now. So that's a basic overview of the settings. Let's go back to the icon bottom left. This allows you to look at the photos you've been taking. As you can see, over the past few days, I've taken a lot of pictures. There's also options here to look at what's going on in the Hipstamatic world, look at different film types and preview different lens types and different options as well. So that's pretty neat. Click on back to camera and we're ready to take a picture. And that's it. That's Hipstamatic. A couple of days later and I'm at a popular spot called Wellington Point. The jetty is a popular subject for local photographers, but for me, it's when the sun starts to go down that things really start to get interesting. With the tide out, you can walk out onto the sand and get some great photos using the pools of water to capture reflections of the locals walking out to a nearby island that is only accessible when the tide is out. And with the sunset, the lights come on, and although I don't usually take night photos with my iPhone, I was really pleased with these results. Without a doubt, the best thing about taking photos of my phone over the past week has been not having to worry about things like lenses, tripod, even camera settings. Taking photos with the camera that's always in your pocket is not just convenient, it's fun. After a few overcast days, the Brisbane sunshine returned once again, and here I'm at Cleveland Point, a location I love and once again a popular location for locals as it has a great fish and chip shop and a cool lighthouse that is very popular with tourists and photographers alike. Now, I'm not usually a fan of shooting in such bright light, but you can use it to your advantage. Here I'm creating lens flare. I'm moving the phone into position so the sun just peeks out from behind the lighthouse. Now, I was taking some more shots of the lighthouse when I spotted a road marking that I hadn't noticed on previous visits to this location. Positioning myself just right, the arrow was directly pointing at the lighthouse. For me, this was an opportunity not to be missed. And once again, using Hipstamatic's random feature, I get to go home with a few different variations. As liberating as it's been taking photos just with a smartphone over the last week, I never stopped thinking about composition. It is so important. It can make or break an image. So make sure you think about your composition and what you can do to make your picture more engaging. In this video, you will see me changing and moving the position of the camera to try and deliver a picture which is simply more interesting to look at. And this applies whether you're shooting with a smartphone or you're using a bigger camera. Composition is king. If you're thinking of using Hipstamatic and you're sharing images to social media, how about we all use, just for fun, the same hashtag, MyHipster. That way we can all check out the images. In fact, let's see if the Photogenius community can come together and give Hipstamatic a bit of a revival. Now, I'm going to be sharing some of the images I've taken over the past week to my Instagram, so if you're not already following us, please follow me at Photogenius Brisbane. After a week of taking photos just with my iPhone, tomorrow night I'll be grabbing my Nikon to get back out and do some night photography because I want to test out this new night filter from Nissi. I'll be bringing you a review of this in a future video in the next couple of weeks. If you've enjoyed this video, please give us a thumbs up, consider subscribing to my channel, and don't forget down below you can leave comments, suggestions and questions. I hope to see you again sometime soon. See ya, bye.